This is the Kejector Blusmart vacuum sealer. Let's take it out of the box. In the box you get the user's manual. They give you a card here with some troubleshooting steps in case you do run into trouble. They give you a bunch of bags here that are pre-made. They also give you a roll of bags here that are the same width of that as that, and you can get wider bags as well, and in fact I'm going to be using some of my own later. They also give you a bottle stopper, great for bottles of wine and stuff like that, and the interconnecting hose to connect from the machine to the bottle stopper right there. There are also, not included, but available separately, vacuum canisters that you can purchase that you would use the hose with in order to vacuum those out. And of course, here is the machine itself. Very sleek, nice looking with the stainless steel and the black. I do like how it looks, that's for sure. And you get dry and moist modes. There's a pulse mode. I'll get into this more later. You can have an extended seal time, regular seal, or cancel, which just stops it. Let's start with what is a vacuum sealer and what can it do for you. A vacuum sealer is a device that will allow you to store food. You can do that with Tupperware, zipper lock bags, all kinds of stuff like that that's out there now, but invariably this stuff goes bad. In these days, this time and place where we are, with inflation running rampant, prices through the roof, families not even able to make it where they were making it fine before the inflation, food is something we all need. And wasting it is not only a sin, but it's also wasteful on your wallet, because that's all money you're going to throw away when the food goes bad. Sometimes you'll find deals at the stores. It depends on what it is. It could be on fresh produce, it might be on meat, stuff like that. It all really depends on what the store has available. Or you might buy in bulk, and buying in bulk will typically get you a cheaper price per pound than you would get otherwise purchasing smaller packs. Typically at a regular grocery store you'll often find chicken breast in what's called a family pack, which is a really big pack, and you say, oh, okay, you know, this is great, I have all this chicken here, and then you'll put the rest in the freezer, and what happens? It gets left in the back of the freezer, it gets freezer burned, and then when there's 27 feet of snow outside and there's no way to leave the house and you need something to eat, that chicken is not going to be really good. So you need a way to preserve that and preserve it well. Vacuum sealing is a technique that's been used for many years. In fact, certain things that you buy in the grocery store now are already vacuum sealed. Depends on what those items are. Typically when you get that, you'll find that the plastic wrapper of it is extraordinarily tightly wrapped around the food. You'll also notice that the expiration date on it is well into the future. And the reason for that is the vacuum sealing technique that they use. When you vacuum seal stuff, you vacuum out the air. Air is the enemy of freshness. So if you leave air in there, it goes bad. If you vacuum that air out, it stays good for a lot longer. How much longer? Up to 8 times longer. This particular machine has 80 kPa of suction force on it. So that means it's going to suck out as much air as possible out of that bag before it seals. This has a dry and a moist mode, these two buttons over here, and what that does is if you're vacuum sealing stuff that's dry, it'll seal that, or stuff that's moist, typically meat, fish, certain produce, stuff like that, that liquid is going to juice out of, if you will. Then you would use the moist mode. The pulse button is used for vacuum sealing with the canister or in a wine bottle or something like that. What I'm going to do now for you is I'm going to show you how this machine works. We're going to vacuum seal some plastic parts, and it's not food, I understand that. We'll do that a little bit later. but the plastic parts are going to show you for sure how well the vacuum sealing actually works. So let me get that all set up and we'll test it out. I just wanted to show you the inside of the machine. There's actually two buttons in here, canister and marinade. These are the buttons you use with the hose, which plugs in over there. And canister would vacuum seal stuff in a canister. Marinade is, if you're going to marinate stuff, you can put it in a canister and it will remove some of the air and not all of it, because you don't want to get any kind of liquid really into the machine. They also include a cutter over here that can be used to open the vacuum sealer bags once they've been used. I have these plastic parts here, and they go to a steamer gadget that I have, and it's just very convenient because you're going to see how well it's going to vacuum seal. I place them in one of the included bags. We're now simply going to take the open end of the bag and place it inside the black area in here. This brown part is the sealing element. You don't want to touch that because it does get very hot. We're going to close the machine down and it must click into place on both sides. Okay, just like that. Now, this is a dry item, so we're going to press the dry button. Red means it's sealing. And it's done. There's buttons on the sides. Take a look at that. This area here, the two edges of the bag, the two sides of the bag, are completely pressed together. There's no air in there. Here as well. Anywhere in between these items. And look how it sealed around all of this. Tight, tight seal. Like I said, you've seen things like this in the grocery store. Take a look at this bumpy area. Wrapped right around that. Absolutely perfect. There's practically no air in this bag. And if this were food, it would last up to 8 times longer. Now let's get some actual food so I can show you a real-world example. When you make a bag off of a roll, you will see it's open at both ends. And that simply is not going to work. So we have to go ahead and seal that. Place it in the machine just the very same way. Close the lid and make sure it locks in on both sides. And we're simply going to press the seal button. And there is our sealed bag right there. Simple like that. I have some nice pork chops that I just got today. I'm going to put in the bag and then we'll seal it. Okay, we're all set here. What I did is I unpacked everything from the supermarket package, placed it in this bag that I just made, and I was smart. I cut out the label from the wrapper on that and put it in here. This way I know what it is and what it weighs. That's important because I'm not cooking these today, so they're going in the freezer, and I'll cook them at a later date. When it's frozen, then you have the chore of defrosting the stuff, and there's many different ways. You can put it in the fridge and stuff like that, but there's a very not often used button on your microwave called defrost, and usually it's really easy. You hit defrost, it asks you for the weight, which is right on the label. You punch that in and let it go. Halfway through it'll beep to let you know to turn it upside down. Run it for the remainder of the time, and in general it comes out just about perfect. So I have the bag in the machine. Everything is pretty much ready to go, lined up, everything good. We'll go ahead and close the lid. Make sure it clicks on both sides. And now we're going to press the moist button. And we're done. There you go. Perfectly sealed. Vacuumed all the air out. Everything is real good. Just like that. And this is ready to go in the freezer. So it did an absolutely fine job with that. And I have that safely tucked away in the freezer for whenever I'm going to make that. And that really is all there is to it. It's very simple to operate. As far as the bags, like I said, I use my own. You can buy them online. Even high-end grocery stores might have them. Anywhere like that, you can look around. They're definitely very, very available and affordable. You can use any brand that you like in this machine. And that way you can vacuum seal any food that you're not going to use either right away, or if you bought too much of it, you can put some of it away, something like that, and it will last up to 8 times longer than it would without vacuum sealing it. Another great thing is those pork chops that I put in the freezer, because the air has been vacuumed out, there will not be any freezer burn on it. That's another great benefit of vacuum sealing stuff. So when you open that and defrost it, it's going to be just as fresh as the day you bought it. So once again, this was the Kejector Blusmart vacuum sealer. If you'd like to purchase this item, I'll leave a link in the video description where you can find the item available for sale on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.